Good evening and welcome to Angel 7. Today is Thursday, November 14th, and I have done a thing here, just a small thing, but I'm going to show it to you, and I hope you enjoy. Special shout out to my friend Anil in Kansas City, who would want me to tell you to like and subscribe. As you know, I don't really make videos very often, and I only make them to keep in touch with the 600 people who are kind enough to follow my channel and sometimes comment, which I really appreciate. I hope all of you are well, and I hope you enjoy this little video. So this is the situation that we are attempting to address. This is the farthest corner of my kitchen. If you have followed my tiny house since its inception in late 2017, you might recall that there was an RV stove where the wooden bookshelf that you currently see is now standing. I had that taken out. The biggest problem with it, well, I never used the oven because it was too hard to light. And right here is the line from that shows where it ended, which means that I could only use half of that cabinet, which is a fairly large cabinet. So I had it taken out. I got that silver, it's essentially a toaster oven, but it's called a smart oven. It's a little dirty right now. It's a toaster oven that can do temperature settings. So it can go as high as, I think, 600 degrees. It has toast, bake, broil, reheat, that sort of thing. So it's basically a sophisticated toaster oven. It works really well, except it doesn't make, it does everything really well except make toast. And it makes really great toast on one side, and the other side is basically pale. I don't really understand that, but so it's a toaster oven that does everything but make toast. So the spice rack that's up there, my son gave me when I first had this house. For my first Christmas here, it was one of my tiny presents. But the real problem that it's not a huge problem. No little children will die of it. It's not a catastrophe. But the basket situation that you see there it's really messy. And as everyone knows, when you live in a tiny space, it's better not to be really messy. So it occurred to me that it would be nice if I had one thing that fit on there, and I could have paid a woodworker. I know a woodworker, and I could have paid a woodworker to build me one, but I really wasn't sure what I wanted, so I thought I would get an inexpensive one now, and if it worked out, then I would talk about having a custom one made that basically incorporated any of the features that I liked from the cheaper one, only was made in really nice wood. The very nice cutting board you see back there was made by Tim Tillman. He's the woodworker that is part of the Mubdies, the creative collective that I manage in Ileton. And if this inexpensive one works for me, or the idea of it works for me, then I would eventually have Tim custom make one for me. It took me a while to find one that was shallow enough that it wouldn't tip over. So that I want to put it on top of this bookcase where these two baskets are, and that depth is about 8.5 inches. And most of the ones that I was seeing online were at least 9.5 inches deep, and that would be it would be tippy. This cutting board hangs over, but it doesn't, it's not a whole thing, so it doesn't matter that it hangs over. So at any rate, I found one on Amazon, and it came today. This might be my swan song on Amazon. I'm a little upset with how things are going, and Jeff Bezos seems to be even more a part of the badness than ever, but we'll see. It's hard when you live way out in the country to buy things anywhere, and Amazon is just so convenient. So at any rate, I did buy one on Amazon, and I'm going to open it up and put it together. So here it is. It calls itself a bread box, but it's really just a box that has a door and two shelves, or a shelf in the bottom. I guess that makes two shelves. It is surprisingly heavy, this box. I'm from the generation that if you buy a bread box, you expect it to be a bread box. But of course, in the description, it did say some assembly required. I would say, judging by the fact that it's flat, that it's not a bread box, it is pieces of bamboo. So I'm going to open it up. I love the it's telling you don't leave it in the rain. The cardboard can recycle. I have no idea what that means. No clue. And this is the top of it. When did we get to be a society in which you have to know characters in order to read something? Hieroglyphics? I thought we were a different kind of society, but okay. In any event, I'm going to find a good stout scissors since my box cutter is at the shop. I'm going to open it up and determine whether or not I can put this together. If I think that I can, I'll turn the camera back on. So, just as I suspected, it's not a bread box at all. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 flat pieces of what purports to be bamboo, and I'm sure this is bolts or screws or something, and this looks like it's probably a cute little screwdriver. So let's get this thing open and see how it goes. Okay, so anyone that really knows me, truly knows me, knows that I am not a particularly skilled craftsperson. I did put together a shoe bench, which I had here for a year or so, and I recently gave it away because I had too many pieces of furniture. And I did put together the replacement for the shoe bench, which is a vertical bamboo shoe holder, which takes up much less space. I'm thinking the styrofoam has nothing to do with the actual bread. Oh, look. Okay, so I don't know if you can see this, but I see a letter F. Yeah, right there, that's an F. So I'm thinking, nope. I was thinking all of these pieces were marked with letters, but so far only F. It's also thinner. Oh, there are 2 Fs. Oh, this is not as exciting as I would have liked it to be. I thought it was going to come assembled. It just said some assembly required. I thought maybe that would mean putting on the knob or something. I should have watched the video. Okay, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces. And this looks like the front here. Directions. Ooh, I think it might actually be glass. I thought it was plexiglass. Very nice piece of oh, it's in a sleeve. So this is the front of it. No, it's plastic. Much preferred. I thought it said plastic, and that's exactly what I wanted. Because if it's possible to knock it off that bookshelf, I will knock it off. Right now, you saw there was a black wire basket on the edge closest to the door of the bathroom. I knock that off at least twice a week. So I deliberately got one that had plastic in the front. Glass would be nice, but this is not breakable. Okay, so don't need the scissors anymore. As usual, this will be a long and hysterical video. This is the time when my videographer friend in Kansas City would say, tell them to like and subscribe. Subscribe only because I'm probably the silliest tiny house person on the internet. No, not really. Look at my art wall. So, wait, this has nothing to do with the bread box. So the rail that you see up there, that is a piece of wood from my 100-year-old bungalow in Kansas City that I sold to Go Tiny. Love it, miss it, but the person that bought it is a wonderful person. And against the rail upstairs in my little bedroom is a bookshelf that my mother's father, my great-grandfather on my mother's side, made for my sisters Anne and Adrian when they were little. It's very small bookshelf. And I use the back of it for an art wall. I don't know if you can see. That is a piece by AJ, a friend of mine in Kansas City. Next to it is another piece by him. Next to that, we're going the wrong way. Next to that is a photograph. Yep, this is Samantha Besant. On your right, my left. The bottom row, a Nicole Thibodeau. Next to it is an octopus by Marianne Benet. She's an artist here. Then that's a photograph by Samantha Besant. That's a painting, I think, by AJ also. Next to that is a print by Jill Huxtable. So I have another art wall, but that's just kind of developed over time. My other art wall is on my stairwell. So, long screws, I would say these are 2-inch, what I would call, Huh. So they are, that's interesting. The body of these screws is a wood screw body. See that? But the head of them works with an Allen wrench, which they provided. I saw something on some social media platform this week that said something to the effect that forget death cleansing. Just get rid of all the Allen wrenches that you've collected from all the IKEA furniture that you bought over the years. For me, it's Amazon, or has been. I went in and I bought my sink for my bathroom at IKEA in the Kansas City area. And in those days, 8 years ago, you couldn't just get stuff shipped. I had to go into IKEA. I've never been back. I was in absolute tears. It was the worst place. Well, okay, that's not true. It's not the worst place I've ever been, but it was terrible. And I was in tears, and like random customers kept stopping me and asking me if they could help me. And then when I got outside with this cart that had this sink in it, not a big sink, because it's a tiny sink actually, but I didn't know what to do. My car was far away, and some woman came over and asked if she could lend me her husband. So her husband got in my car, and by that time I was frazzled and hysterical because I'd been in IKEA hopelessly lost. So the other thing that's in here are, these look like those little, well, first of all, they're little teeny tiny impossibly small screws. I can't imagine what they're for. And then these look like pegs that like hold the shelf. Can you see these? Yeah, those are, I'm pretty sure those are pegs that you put in to hold the shelf. That's my guess anyway. And there's a cute little fake wood knob. I'm sure it's not real wood. I will probably replace, if I keep this thing, which it's actually pretty nice wood, but if I keep this and don't replace it with a custom-made one, I will surely replace that knob because it's plastic. It's bad enough that I have, bamboo from Amazon. I sure don't want plastic. Okay, I'm going to turn this off. I'm not going to make you watch me put it together. I'm going to turn this off, and then if I get it put together, I'll turn it back on. If I don't, I'll turn it back on, and we can all laugh about my failure. But see you in a minute. Oh, for some reason it just turned itself back on. I have no idea why, but I was going to turn it back on anyway, because this is interesting. The directions indicate that there is one each of A, B, C, D, and E, and 2 F. Well, the only thing that's marked is F. So I have to figure out if A, B, C, D, and E are identical, or if the fact that they're not marked is a problem. So I'm already confused. Okay, I just had to add this. They are marked. They're marked on the edges. See, that's C. And it is important. They're not identical. And some of them, one of them, D, wherever that is, has magnets in it. And I think the magnet is what holds the door shut. So we are making progress. Yeah, they're all marked. They're just marked on the side, see? I will say, it kind of looks like it'd be easier to do if they're either I had 4 hands or there were 2 people. So I'm not 100% convinced I'm going to get this put together, but I'm going to try. Okay, I just had to pop back on here because I wanted to show you this little piece. I don't know if it's going to focus. Let's see if I can get it to focus. Nope. Instead, I dropped it. Okay. I'll pick that up in a minute. But here's the other one. I don't know how to make that focus. So right here you see there's a hole there, and there's a corresponding hole there in the door. Where's my videographer friend when I need him? And so this little metal piece that I thought was to position the middle shelf is actually to hold the door on and basically act as a pivot. So there's one that goes here, and the one I dropped will go here, and then there's a piece here that has a corresponding hole. So these are pivot. I don't know, I'm sure there's a better word for that, but it's pretty ingenious. So I'm going to pick the one up that I dropped and keep putting this together. It's going pretty well, actually. Okay, campers, there it is. So it's actually fairly well designed. Being the daughter of a carpenter, I would have preferred like tongue and groove, that sort of thing. But it is, that said, so the main body is held together with these, they're threaded like wood screws, but they have heads for an Allen wrench. And then this door is pivots on the little, I don't know what their name is, cylinder things. I see I didn't get all the letters off, but I'll take those off. And then there's the magnet, and you put a little metal plate on there, and it holds it shut. And the 2 little thin pieces slid into the back. Oh, there's another letter. I'll have to go through and take all the letters off. Yeah, it's actually, it's bamboo. It's not split anywhere. I have gotten some lightweight bamboo things from various places that were split. It is not. So, yeah, I'm going to take all the stuff off, put it on the bookcase, and see if it works. So I'll show you the final product in a minute. So I just have to jump back on for a minute to show you a small problem. The bookcase, this bookcase right here, which I've had for many, many years, it was in my traditional house. It is bolted to the wall. I don't know if bolted is the right word, but affixed to the wall because I live in an earthquake zone and in a tiny house. So when I set this on here, it's slightly not level, and I don't know if that's because the bookcase is not level, because this is inexpensively made, or what the story is. But I think the solution will be, you can see that it rocks. I think the solution will be to put a shim under it in the front, like a commercially made shim that's just a precise size. It could be, Yeah, I think it needs a shim, but I'm going to go ahead and put things in it anyway. I might have some shims left over from a prior project, but that's what it's going to need. I just want to mention while I'm here with my video camera, anyone that really knows me well knows that I gave up paper towels for about a year, and I finally broke down and started using them again, and I got this really nifty paper towel holder. It could be screwed in, but it's not. I put it up with Gorilla Tape. Amazing stuff. And that wine rack, which split, it fell off the shelf in an earthquake. Luckily, it was empty and it fell off and cracked. I glued it back together again, but I want to get rid of it. So I'm kind of going to clean up this. This is the stuff that'll go in the bread box, but I'm kind of going to rearrange and clean up here to make it a little more chronically tidy. And I'll do a separate little video about that. You have to be constantly vigilant, as you know. Okay, I'm going to fill the bread box. First, I'm going to check and see if I have shims or something that I can use, and then I'll fill it. Okay, so here is the final product. I like it a lot. It fits. The wobbliness is not really yet addressed. I put my little tiny level, which was my son's little Tykes level, on the bookshelf, and the bookshelf is level. But as you can see, there's a gap on one side under the bread box, and it is not on the other side. So I think this is the product of a janky, poorly made bread box. Interestingly, I didn't have any shims. They're easy enough to get. But when I put my cutting board on top of it, it's heavy enough that it made it stable. But I will have to put a shim under it on the right side. That said, I like it. I was even able to put my basket in it, which has apples and potatoes. I like it quite a bit. Just for anecdotal interest, the cutting board, this cutting board, as I said, was made by Tim Tillman. It's quite lovely. He gave it to me for my tiny house. And this cutting board was made by my father from, I think it was an apple tree, might have been a cherry tree, some type of tree that fell down in my parents' yard. And I believe it had been planted in honor of my nephew Eric, and my father cut it into cutting boards for everybody in the family. So, I like it. It works. And it's obviously a little janky because, as you can see, it is touching the bookshelf on the left and not touching it on the right. So I will get a shim and put it under the right side. Maybe Tim will give me a shim. And but otherwise, I think it looks a lot better than the wire basket, which is here, and which I like. I was watching a YouTuber, tiny house YouTuber that I follow not too long ago, and she had the exact basket on her kitchen counter. I'll find some place to use that either here or at the shop. But there you have it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and follow along for more changes in the tiny house. I have a few little projects that I want to do this winter, and I will try to make videos when I do them. So thanks for spending a few minutes of my tiny life with me, and I'll see you next time.